This article comes from the Daily Mail just this morning. The title of the article is, "Borders Are the Worst Invention Ever." European Union Chief Jean-Claude Juncker widens the rift with European leaders as he calls for open borders. Well, the EU chief, Jean-Claude Juncker, risked widening divisions with European leaders today by saying that the borders around nations were the worst invention ever. He called for all borders across Europe to be opened despite the chaos caused over the last year from the flood of refugees fleeing Syria and the wave of terror attacks hitting various continents' cities. Speaking at the Outback Media Academy this morning, Mr. Juncker said, "Borders are the worst invention ever made by politicians." The contentious remarks from the Brussels chief are the polar opposite of moves by elected leaders of the EU member states who have seeking to tighten their borders over recent months after more than 1 million entered the bloc from Syria in less than a year. Mr. Juncker also said a stronger EU was the best way of beating the rising trend of nationalism across Europe. In another extraordinary remark, he appeared to warn of war on the continent if the EU disintegrates, as he echoed the warning from the former French President François Mitterrand, who said nationalism added to nationalism would end absolutely in war. This is still true, he states, so to fight against, this is still true, so we have to fight against nationalism. Mr. Juncker said, we have to absolutely fight against nationalism. There's no other way. The embattled EU Commission President described Brexit as an unheard of political crisis for the EU, but told EU member states that the only way of overcoming the challenge of Britain leaving would be to remain as one. In the concentration of globalization and European problems, we must not lose our way, said Juncker, and as he was speaking to the leaders of Germany, France, and Italy as they met for the crisis talks today, as they plot to save the EU in the wake of the Brexit, or the Britain exit out of the EU. Well, the open borders that Mr. Juncker is advocating is nothing more than the ongoing process of globalization, which will lead straight into a world government. They need a global governing to stem the tide of what's going on in Europe. They're looking for the international community to move in and help govern that. That's what they're that's what this is all moving towards, this process of globalization. Well, globalization is the process of eliminating the nation-state structure and creating one global nation that will answer to a single global government management system. The global government that the global elitists are establishing is the exact same world government prophesied in Revelation to be in power at the second coming of Jesus Christ and the Battle of Armageddon. It is the very world government that the Antichrist will rule over in the end time.